what is ransomware? Ransomware is a file that gets installed on a computer maliciously, not by an intended purpose. It gets on the system either through a link that came in from a fake email or within an attachment of an email. It gets downloaded and then it gets run on the system. And basically when that file runs on the system, what it does is it looks for documents on the computer and then it spreads out through the network. And it looks to find anything that it can encrypt. And what it does is it encrypts those files. Now, encryption is not necessarily a bad thing, but when you encrypt a file, an encrypted file needs a key, a security key. And when you have a security key in place, the security key is what allows those files to get de-encrypted. And so when a malicious file gets on your system and it goes to encrypt all of the files on your computer as well as to scan your network and other computers on the network, the first thing it needs to do is it needs to go out and get a key. And once it has a key, it can start encrypting everything. Now, the bad guys are not going to give you the key. They will let you know through a pop-up on the screen that your files are encrypted. And the only way you're going to be able to get them back is if you provide them with a ransom, a fee, in order to get the key to unlock those files. So a lot of times, it's not really recommended that you provide the ransom to the bad guys because that just empowers them and you don't even know if you're going to get the files. I think the statistic is about 25% of the time that you'll actually get the file. You would think the key to decrypt the files. You would think that it would be a little bit more. It's not. You don't know. These are bad people to begin with, so you have no idea. They have no reason to be truthful with you. So the best form of protection against ransomware is awareness, number one. Patching, updating, having a good backup in place and a disaster recovery option, and offline backup. Offline backup after the files are backed up to a device on an ongoing basis that gets unplugged from the network, because one of the steps that the ransomware does is it does actually look for backup to try to encrypt that as well. So if you don't have a good backup and disaster recovery solution in place, you may not be able to get your files back unless you pay the ransom. And the ransom, again, the risks of getting the files back or unencrypting them are very low to begin with. On top of that, having ransomware on the network, basically if you're paying the ransom, you are essentially becoming an ATM for the company, because they may leave files behind. If you are not going to wipe out and reinstall all of the computer operating systems from scratch and replace everything, you may still have remnants of the ransomware in place, and that may put you at a disadvantage and a potential for future attacks, similar to what happened in Baltimore and other states and local governments, and really anywhere you listen to on the news today. Ransomware is a very big deal, and it is a big problem, and it needs to really be addressed by implementing many different layers of protection.